Hello and welcome to another Imperator Rome Developer Diary. Now this one is written by Snow Crystal and he is going over some mission trees that we're going to be getting in the Magna Graecia content pack. So let's just dive in and see what we are going to be getting. Hello there, I have the pleasure of bringing you this week's Dev Diary and we'll try to make the most of it. Today we're going to take a look at two of the other mission sets we're bringing for the upcoming content pack, Sparta and Athens. I want to stress that what you will see here is still a work in progress, so things might change before they go live. This wording, I feel, is quite important. Today we'll be looking at two other, not the two other. This makes me think this is not it. There is not going to be just Syracuse, Sparta and Athens. If it was just the three of them, then it would be the two other mission sets. So I do still think there is more to come. Though I will say, Athens and Sparta, not really the two that I would have pegged for a Magna Graecia content pack. Of course, I said that I expected Epirus and the Greek states in Italy and the tribal nations in Italy. I expected those to get them. But anyway, Sparta and Athens, let's get into it. We will, for our start date, Sparta and Athens' glory days are long over, with Sparta losing their allies and subjects after the Battle of Leuctra in 371 BCE. We start in 303, so quite a while away. Oops, didn't want to do that. And Athens losing theirs after the loss in the Peloponnesian War, though they had another smaller league later on. So, starting with Sparta, who've lost their Messenian lands to the freed Helots and parts of Sinuria to the Argives in the east. Their missions will be focused on taking control of the Peloponnese, building up that land and potentially taking a stab at Athens, Thebes and Macedon. This is the starting situation in... this is in the updated version, though I don't see too much different. Troezen looks like it's now been split into Hermione and Troezen. I feel like maybe Manatea and Tegea have also been split in two. That's definitely the thing. And up in the north, Patre is now been split into Patre and Dime. There might be another letter underneath the fourth there that I can't see. But that's the changes that I can spot. I can't really see any changes in the north here. Although, actually, having said that, yes I do. This is now no longer a part of Megara, this island. It is now its own island with a strait to both Athens and Megara. That's interesting. And then this is its own island as well. Very interesting. Yeah, this used to be part of Megara. This is where the fort used to be when you built a fort in Megara. So yeah, some interesting map changes for sure. Alright, let's move on. First, Spartan mission, Spartan restoration. The first mission is focused on Laconia itself, the old heartland of Spartan power and influence in the Peloponnese. After the Thebans invaded and shattered the Peloponnesian League, Sparta was left in a weakened position in between the Arcadians in the north, Messenians to the west and Argives to the northeast. So we got recruiting the Skiritae? I don't know. The Helots of Messenia, Spartan resurgence. Helots once more, so re-enslaving the Messenians. Path to Olympia, that is going up this way. There's Olympia right there. We've got reincorporating Messenia. That brings you to Laconian strength once you've done Laconian food. Sanctuary of Artemis, Orthia. Expanding infrastructure, fortifying Sinuria. Where's Sinuria? Sinuria, where are you? Sinuria, I don't see Sinuria. I'm not sure where that is. I don't know where that is. Huh. It's in Laconia. So I'm not sure. And then Spartan men, Spartan ports, leading to Laconian strength. The path on the right-hand side lets you focus on improving your starting land, where our left-hand side is focused on retaking the lands of Messenia. If you were to take the lands of Messenia before you start the mission will instead focus on developing your western holdings as well. As a standalone task, you have the possibility of trying to convince the Sciditae, a small rural tribe at the border between Arcadia and Laconia, to rejoin your side and permanently improve your light infantry troops. That's not... I mean, that is a fairly decent benefit for light infantry if you can really get more bonuses for them, but light infantry is always going to have a little bit of an issue. I do like this kind of thing. Territory of Sparta has an average freeman happiness of 85 or higher. That's a new kind of requirement that we haven't seen before. That's fairly decent. They lie on the border between Laconia and Arcadia and used to be loyal subjects of Sparta. I assume then that is the new guy here, the Dim. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, or maybe they're just not on the map at all. Another thing of note in the mission is the task to unlock the deity Artemis or Thea on the right-hand side. She was historically an important deity in Sparta, and her sanctuary was rebuilt in the 3rd century BCE. So you need 200 gold for that, and you get Artemis or Thea. I imagine that is going to be part of the new religious rework. You'll be able to choose Artemis or Thea as one of your patron deities. So, the second mission, Protector of the Peloponnese, or Peloponnesus. The second mission for Sparta will focus on taking your conquests and efforts beyond Lacedaemonian lands to the rest of the Peloponnese. You have the Arcadians, who have gathered in a defensive league to the north, ancient rivals in Argos, and the Eleans and Achaeans to the far north and northwest. So we've got Elean barbarians leading into liberating the Temple of Zeus, the priests of Zeus, religious backing, rival in Argolis, rebuilding Argos, northern coastline, Arcadian hinterlands, the home of Pan, civilizing the valley, leading into conquering the Peloponnesus, and fortifying Corinthos. As you can see, we have an optional far left path that focus on the Eleans, whereas the rest focus on the rest of the Peloponnese. The missions focus on taking the Arcadian, Argive, and Achaean lands, and gives you the optional task if you want to improve these lands afterwards. Similarly to the first mission, you'll get an alternate development focus tasks here if you already own some of the land when you start the mission. So, show some examples of the optional tasks. You need 100 gold, need Argos. Argos needs 15 pops and needs 3 buildings. Thankfully, it's not, oh, you need 3 of these buildings that you're never going to build because they're actually kind of shit. Like the foundries for the ship building. Just having 3 buildings, that seems fair. And then you get some bonuses. I assume it's till the end of the game. Yeah, permanently. So, plus 5% pop output is very nice. And the local unrest. That would be quite nice indeed. Fortifying Corinthos, 3 fortress buildings. In fairness, if it's a fortify mission, that does make sense. Corinthos gets expanded Acropolis, giving 2 extra building slots and some more food capacity. That does make sense for a fortify mission, the food capacity, because, I mean, you're storing food in the event of a siege. So, moving on to the third mission. Third mission for Sparta also focuses on the Peloponnese, similar to the second mission, but this time we're prioritizing development and taking control of whatever subjects you may have in the area. The Protector of Greece, Liberation of Greece, Cities of the Peloponnesus, Peloponnesian Hegemony, League Capitals, League Infrastructure, Western Eastern Capitals, League for the Navy, Army for the League, whatever. Pearls of Greece, Peace at Home, and Restored League. At first, you have a small optional route where you'll be able to liberate parts of Greece still owned by foreign Diadochi. Then later you have an optional route where you can focus on expanding the largest cities of the Peloponnese. So Corinthos going up to 30, Argos going up to 30, and that's really all you need. And then some very decent rewards, Pop Cap, which would probably get boosted by other things like horses, increase that percentage quite significantly. City building slots is nice. Population output plus 10%. That's really quite good. Especially if you make something like Argos your capital. That's really, really handy. The main task will focus on rebuilding the Peloponnesian League and restoring Sparta to former glory. At the end of it, you'll get some nice permanent bonuses in addition to a name and a flag change. So that is the flag for the Peloponnesian League. Garnet Red Intensifies. It's a nice flag. It's very similar to the Spartan one now, but I guess just a bit better. So, that is that. So, now on to the fourth mission, Ancient Rivals. That'll be up against Athens. Final mission for the Spartans will focus on moving beyond the borders of the Peloponnese to Athens, Thebes, Boeotia, and Macedon. So, plains of Thessaly, everyone knows where Thessaly is. Sons of Cadmus, appeasing the gods of Boeotia, restoring the seven gates, pacifying the League, people of Athens, taking the Long Wall, ending the Macedonian threat. Home of the Macedonians, Spartan peace, Spartan supremacy, and the mysteries of Eleusis. Whatever, something like that. Right-hand path focuses on Macedon, the middle on Athens, and the left-hand side on Thebes and Boeotia. Every path focuses on taking the main cities, see Athens, Thebes, Pella, Thessalonica, and then developing and taking advantage of them. At the end of the Athenian path, we have an optional task of introducing a new Athenian deity and an effect from the Athenian mission task in Sparta as well. So we get Demeter Potnia, although we have no idea what Demeter Potnia does. Characters in the Peloponnesian League will occasionally join the cult in Eleusis. You get Eleusinian mysteries, sorry. This is the character. You get an extra friend, some zeal, and some prominence for joining the cult. I suppose it's fine. I mean, max friends, I've never really found that to be a desirable trait or something I'm really looking at getting. It just never really bothered me. But, you know, it's fine, I guess. It's just fine. So, now on to Athens. Athens will be focused on breaking free from their Antigonid overlord, developing Attica, and restoring the Delian League once more. At our start date, Demetrius is invading Greece and wresting control of the city-states from Macedon. And though he was originally accepted by the people of Athens, his treatment of their city quickly soured his relationship with the citizens. So Athens' starting position in the Archimedes update. Can I see any changes here? I think these two have been split. Definitely there's been a lot of splitting up going on here. This used to be, I think, four territories. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This mountain is no longer a place where you could walk. Yeah, so that has definitely been split up quite a lot. Looking north a bit, this all seems fairly normal. I think maybe Thebes and whatever this used to be. This is called Tana something. Maybe that's been split up. But definitely I think these two have been split. Then yeah, we can obviously see this one has been split as well. But other than that, I can't see any other changes. Yeah, definitely this is the biggest change here to like the Euboea area, Chalkis kind of area. So, the first mission for Athens. Athens in chains. The first mission for Athens will be focused on wresting control of the nation from its foreign overlord in Syria, or accepting their domination for some nice bonuses. So a subservient delegate and a case for independence. I doubt I'm ever going to go down this path, honestly. But if you do, you get sorting the assembly, Phrygian trustee, securing protection, and finalizing the treaty. It's basically game over if you do that. But if you go for a case for independence, ridding ourselves of the overseers, splitting Phrygia, taking charge, and the final vote. As you can see here, the mission is split in two routes, one loyalist and one independence-seeking path. In the mission, you have one great family in the nation that promotes each of the paths, and you'll interact fairly heavily with them to get to the end of the route. The winning family will eventually banish their rivals and either lead Athens to freedom or to oligarchy. So, final vote, you need to not be of the Demosthenes family. Ruler of Athens is part of a faction with at least 50 seats in the Senate. So you become independent when the mission is finished. Interesting. Is there no way that Phrygia can be like, yeah, nah, you're not being independent? You get large independence majority giving some morale of armies, manpower recovery speed, negative loyalty. Wait, but why would you need this if it becomes... If you become independent, why would you need this? I don't really get it. I mean, this is the final vote. The reward for that is all of this. And then I guess Become independent when the mission is finished. So you click this, you become independent. If you click this, you get these bonuses. So why wouldn't you just take this and then immediately click this to become independent? I'm not really sure what the story is with that. That's a bit strange to me. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to have to come back to that and have a look. As one of the richer regions in Greece, Attica was the home of several rich silver mines, as well as a large population in several cities under Athenian influence. Second mission for Athens focused on expanding your local power base before you look outwards at new potential conquests. Attica for Athens, restored to greatness, developing the land. Ports of Piraeus, securing the borders. Attican minerals, we've got rights of Eleusis. Academy of Athens, the Eleusinian ministries, filling the ranks, and Attican celebration. So at the top we have tasks focused on the basic infrastructure like owning all of Attica, building up Athens, and an optional task to expand upon the silver mines. For the second half of this mission, you'll have two paths focused on the mysteries of Eleusis and the Academy of Athens, giving different kinds of bonuses. Among them, the character bonus you saw earlier in the Spartan mission as well. So, the Academy of Athens, you need 250 gold for it, and the reward you choose between some research points and Miltech, research and civ, research and oratory, research and religious. So you can basically choose which one you want. That's pretty cool, actually. I do kind of like that. I would probably go for military, honestly. Or would I? I don't know. There's some really good civic techs. Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way. And then the third one, Democracy in Athens. The third mission for Athens is focused on the local democracy of Athens itself, an institution famous long after its fall. So we've got improving the council or restoring the assembly. I assume these are mutually exclusive. Maybe they're not. They might be. And popular powerhouse, orator of note, end to opposition. We've got personal touch, controlled ostracism, in the footsteps of Solon, organized citizens, and ancient traditions. This mission is split into two different options. On the right-hand side, you can choose to abandon democracy and become a new tyrant of the Republic, a bit like Lacheres did in the early 3rd century BCE. Whereas on the left-hand side, you can hold on to your ancient ideals and focus your efforts on improving the democratic institutions of the city-state, to give some permanent boni to the Republic-related actions in the game. So you need to have a civic researcher. Why wouldn't you not have that? You need 50 statesmanship and 80 loyalty in your Prytanis, Agoramanus, and civic researcher. All need to have high statesmanship. That's an interesting kind of requirement. They definitely have been expanding the things that you need to have to fulfill the missions. It sort of reminds me of the way that EU4's missions went, where the early missions were all very basic, and then later missions, like, for example, the one for the Mughals, you ended up having to, you need these provinces to have lower than this amount of autonomy, and that kind of way, and it just had more interesting requirements, I'll say. And then the bonus for that is political parties will be more likely to support new laws. It's just not a really interesting bonus, to be honest. And then we've got ancient traditions for 150 gold. You get 15 popularity, and you'll receive a new government reform. Athenian Republic government reform, so it's unique, I guess. Oh, and one of each, so that's empire level. Sort of. Yeah, I mean, it's the only republic that has 4 idea slots, so that's something. And that'll give you citizen happiness, I think. That's a new one. I think that's something to do with religiousness. I'm not sure though. And plus 40% civilization? I'm gonna have to have a look and see what these bonus things are. I very rarely look at the icons and judge it that way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's citizen happiness though. 15% is quite a bit. I have no idea what that is. Absolutely no idea whatsoever. It's got to be new. I don't think I've ever seen that. Alright, and then lastly, restoring the Delian League. The fourth mission for Athens focuses on restoring the Delian League to its former glory, taking the place of the current decision that already exists in the game. So preparing the campaign, well, I mean, to just go into what the Delian League is, it is a league of city-states that were formed after Sparta left the previous anti-Persia League. So it's, if you think of it as all of Greece minus most of the Peloponnese, minus the land between Pella and Byzantium, but including Byzantium, and then like the east coast of the Aegean, lots and lots of little city-states in Ionia, and they all like sort of banded together with Athens at their head, pushing out the previous leaders of the league, which was Sparta. Preparing the campaign, we got Athenian strength, northern neighbours, by the Strymon River, modernising the navy, the home of Apollo, that is Delos, the island of Delos, where near Naxos, a little bit north of Naxos. Hellespontine coast, Amphipolian goods, treasury in Delos, yep, there we go. Then we've got the land of Mausolos, securing the Hellespont, that's where Lysimachia is. The Cyclades, Hectonomid legacy, returning roads, Naxian marble, finding Kephalos, and then finally the last Delian bastion. In the mission you have two paths, one focused on the Aegean Islands and one focused on the more distant city-states that used to be part of the ancient league. For most of the conquest tasks you'll have an optional development-focused follow-up task. Example, by the Strymon River, which gives you the task of taking Amphipolis, and then Amphipolian goods, which has you expand upon the local mines. These will vary somewhat based on who owns it, you or a subject, and if the city, if it is a city or a settlement. Okay, so Amphipolian goods is you need to be owned by you or a subject. It needs to have a forum and a fortress, and then you'll get base resource production. This is new. This is, I guess, just resources in general. You just get more. But no. Resources, this is new. This is new. This is now the most interesting part of the dev diary, honestly. Resource production. So is that cash, manpower, research from your citizens and slaves and freemen and such? I don't think it is. Let's go back up to Sparta just a moment, because they had... no, it was up a bit more. No, that's population output. That's how they call that. Resource production is something I have never seen before. That is new. I'm gonna have to have a look into this. Resource production. I mean, resources, they're your trade goods. So you make more of them, but I mean, is that basically saying that Amphipolis, which is like the third or fourth different pronunciation, is going to, without the need for these local surpluses, like more slaves for the surplus, are you just going to be making 2 extra, say it's precious metals? Are you going to be making 3 precious metals with 0 slaves? Is that what this is saying? I mean, it could be. That could be exactly what it is. But yeah, this is... I mean, I know I've got a really crap memory, but I don't remember ever seeing a modifier called resource production in the game. That is entirely new to me. Okay, so I just paused the video there to have a look through the files, and I did find this here. This is base resources, and I don't think I've ever seen this icon used in the game. So yeah, I mean, it is in the game, but I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't know what it's been used for, if it has been used at all. It might be something that it's just been in the game but not had a use, and then now there's a use for it. That might be it, but yeah, it's not new, but at the same time it might be new. But if you know where this is in the game right now, please do let me know in the comment section below. I'd very much like to know that. But yeah, that's base resources. Alright, so With that, when you finish the mission, you'll get a new name and a flag similar to the end of the third Spartan mission as you triumphantly restore the Delian League. And we have this lovely flag, which I do think is a much nicer flag than what Athens has right now, which for clarity's sake is this. I mean, it's the same. It's just you just got like little border stuff, and border stuff is nice. And just to show off the Spartan flag, that is much less neat and tidy and cool than the Spartan flag that you get from the missions. Which, if I scroll all the way up, is that. I do like this flag a lot. All right. With that, let's have a look. There is one comment extra. We want to ask if Sparta and Athens are going to try and stick with the missions to get the rewards so they would, at least for a certain rarity, form up as unions on the map. Unicorns. Or are they not really affected by the mission trees much, since the mission trees are more or less a player's thing? The AI aims to expand along the lines of missions. This is also true in 1.3. Yeah, that's something we already knew, I guess. But yeah, I think if your AI manages to form, especially the Delian League, the Peloponnesian League, I can see that happening. The Delian League, I don't see the AI ever forming that. So if I ever see that, I'll be very surprised indeed. But I'd love to see it. But I guess now we come to the end of the Dev Diary, and we talk about my thoughts on it, and that is... as far as missions go, it's fine. As far as missions go, it's fine. I do think, though, that the content packs need to be a little bit more than just missions. Because missions are a thing that some people love them, some people hate them, and some people are indifferent to them. For the people who don't like them, this is not going to convince them, even if they like Imperator Rome, this is not going to convince them to purchase the DLC. It just isn't. If somebody doesn't like playing as Athens or Sparta, this is not going to convince them to purchase the DLC, or Syracuse. I guess that is also involved in this. So that's a little bit... There needs to be more. And I think changing the way the governments work is really the way you would go with that. Have the governments of both of these countries be the same if you're playing without the DLC, same as they are right now. Slightly ahistorical, especially for Sparta, but passable. I think if you have the DLC, then of course you'd have your missions, but you'd also have the Spartan diarchy, and various other changes to the way that Sparta's government works. Have the Helots be a significant kind of barrier or thing that you have to contend with. I know the Helots mostly went to Messenia, and it's not really in this time frame, but they could still be every country has slaves, and Sparta having to manage their slaves via their government would be something interesting. Instead of having a archimedes, they might have a governor who is in charge of the management of slaves, and your slave output would be increased if this guy had good stats, and it would be decreased if this guy had shit stats, something like that. Just something to make the way the governments work unique, both mechanically and with modifiers. And Athens, I mean, it's a republic that works just like every other republic, and maybe it shouldn't. Maybe their republic should work a little bit differently. We know, as far as the republics of this era go, we know a lot more about the way that Athens' republic worked than probably any other. Maybe save for Rome. But there was a lot written about Athens' republic. And, maybe we can take some leaves out of those books and just change Athens' government to be something unique that no other government has. Their system of, what's it called? Ostracization. So, something that Athens did, this was more back when the Delian League was formed, is that they would have a vote, and every person, or I guess every person of stature, would write down a name, and the person who got his name written the most would be exiled from Athens. Having that in the game, I don't know if that system was still in place in 303 BCE. I don't know. But that is something that could be done. Bring back ostracization. So maybe the most popular person in your country is exiled. And this could come with some benefits, could come with some drawbacks. Benefits being the populists are massively reduced in power. The drawbacks being your really good martial character, the best general you have, has to fuck off to, Boeotia or something. Just something to make them more unique. And that's I think would be a lot more viable. It has to be more than just missions. And I really hope they do add more. I mean, like I said, we haven't learned everything about the dev diaries yet, but I think there does just have to be something more than just missions. But I would love to know what you guys think. So please let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are on the mission tree, what you would want from a paid DLC. Because I'm in two minds. Like, I quite like the mission system, and at times I often forget that it exists. So that's not great either. But I'm definitely in two minds, because I don't want them to add overarching mechanical changes to the DLCs, as that leads into the same problem that EU4 and CK2 and all these games have, where important mechanical things are locked behind a paywall, and I don't think that is healthy for the game. But at the same time, the DLCs need to be enticing enough for people to purchase them where they get benefits. It's not just, I want to support the development, therefore I buy the DLCs, although I'm sure there are people who do think like that. People buy in their own interest, and they need to feel like they're getting their value for money. And yes, I'm one of the people who sees the update and the DLC as sort of one and the same. The DLC price pays for the changes in the update. That's the way I see it, and that's the way I've seen it since before I started getting DLCs from Paradox. That's the way I've always seen it. But I know that I don't even know if I'm in a minority, but I know I'm not. I know this isn't universal. Not everyone thinks like that. Some people think of them as completely separate, and the DLC contents need to be worth the DLC price alone. And I can totally understand that perspective as well. And I do empathize with that perspective. And I do think that that is a perspective that should be taken into account by Paradox. I say, I still love the game, and I'm not disillusioned with Imperator. I still think it's going to be the best Paradox game, but I want it to succeed, and for it to succeed, it needs to sell its DLC. The higher-ups, the stockholders, the shareholders, the big brass needs to see that Imperator has a financial future that is beneficial to Paradox, and so I want the game to succeed. I want to continue playing it. I want it to continue getting updates, and therefore I want the DLC to sell well. And if it is just missions, I don't see it doing so well. Maybe this one will, but if this is what we're going to get from now on is just missions, 2 or 3 down the line, I think it's not going to work out. And that really does depress me quite a significant amount. But anyway, as I said, I would like to know your thoughts in the comment section below, so please do leave them there. If you want to keep up to date in all Imperator news and updates and my opinions on all of the shit that's going on in the Imperator world, then leave me a sub, click a bell, do all that other YouTube shit. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.